Okay, so this is a video of me calming my son down by doing Red Wings trivia and or history, usually history. So, so you might hear some crying in this. So this is our little baby boy. So he's our newest Red Wings fan, and so we're gonna talk about goaltending with the Red Wings. So Red Wings have struggled with goaltending for a while now. I mean, since 2019 when Eisman took over, he has not been able to find a good goalie. And then what he did, he did something, good rotating goalies. And then I know it's crazy because in 2021 he made this big move. So he picked sixth overall, and it was Simon Edmondson. That's a left-hand defenseman. I know, but he had the 23rd overall from a trade with Anthony Mantha and the Washington Capitals, which gave him Jacob Vrana, the 23rd overall pick, Richard Panik, I think another pick as well. And so it was like a fourth or a second. And then they got that. They had the 23rd overall pick for Anthony Mantha, which is awesome. So that's a 2021 draft. And then, so what they did is they took that 23rd overall draft, 23rd overall. They traded it with a fourth round pick and a second round pick, and they moved up from 23rd to 15th because there's these two goalie prospects that were available, and it was Jesper Wallstedt and Sebastian Cossa. And of course, the best goalie that was ranked, that was more technical, a little bit better, a little more NHL ready, was Jesper Wallstedt. And so he was the projected number one. And of course, Jesper's Swedish. Of course, by the way, he's sleeping. He's Swedish. And so you think, okay, a Swedish goaltender, of course, the Red Wings are going to go Swedish. They have Hakan Andersson. He's the scout over there. He's going to, he's going to suggest Jesper Wallstedt. But instead, Eisman goes and picks the second-ranked goalie in there, in Sebastian Cossa, who's from Edmonton Oil Kings, which is out in BC, like out in the Western Canada. And everyone's like, what is Eisman doing? I was for sure. I was like, why are we picking the Western Canada goalie? Of course, the better prospects, we know the prospects better out in Sweden. But why would we pick a Western goalie? Like, it doesn't make sense. Of course, he was known as more of a project pick too, but he's 6'6", so he's huge, right? I think Jesper Wall's at 6'3". Don't quote me on that, but he's 6'6", and so that's the Red Wings go out and they get him. And I was like, oh my goodness, why would you get him? He's a project, and supposedly he has the upside of being like Andre Vasilevsky. That's very high, I know. And I know, I was like, your dad, super skeptical. I was like, goodness gracious, I don't know if I want the project pick. I want the guarantee pick. Why are you going to waste a first round pick on that? Like, I'd rather have Jesper Wallstedt. I would trust the Swedish goaltenders over that in general. But instead, what we did, Dad watched him, and he was like, oh my goodness, he's playing really well. I think he won the Memorial Cup with the Edmonton Oil Kings as well. So he played well, but again, Edmonton Oil Kings were a pretty stacked team. I think he might have won it twice, but either way, he did really well with the Edmonton Oil Kings. And I was like, yeah, but he's a little bit overager in that case. Maybe he's just not, he's behind a stacked team as well. Like, maybe he's just not him. And Dad was skeptical. So he graduates after 2 seasons in the WHL, goes to the AHL, and he does not have a good time in the AHL. And this is unprecedented for a first round goalie in the AHL prospect. He gets sent to the ECHL, and that was frustrating for Dad. So he gets sent down to Toledo Walleye, which is the ECHL team for the Red Wings. It is unheard of for a first-round draft pick goalie to go down to the ECHL. It's still pro hockey, but Dad was definitely scared when it came to that. I was like, oh my goodness, did we just wait? Did we pick the wrong goaltender? And the thing is, Jesper Wallstedt wasn't doing super great, at least in the AHL. He was doing well, but he wasn't doing super great. Again, I don't know how good the Iowa Wild were at that time. But then you saw down in Toledo, Cossa was killing it. He was doing a great job. And I think around this time, Dad had actually met Cossa. Dad got a picture with Cossa. So he went down to the drafts, down to the Little Caesars Arena to watch the draft and met Cossa. He was very nice. So it takes nothing away from the experience of Cossa. But again, I was skeptical. Then up in the AHL, he starts doing the tandem in the goalie. And so he was doing really well in the tandem. And I'm like, oh my God, is he a good starter? And then now in 2025 to 26, he is the starting goaltender with Michael Postava and doing phenomenal. And of course, you have other goaltenders that Eisman drafted, like Carter Gylander. You have Sverchuk. Postava. Yeah, Postava was the one. He's a Czech goalie. And again, there's a bunch of goalies that I can't even think of. But Oh, Rudy Guimond, another late round goalie prospect down in the QMJHL. He's doing very well. He won goalie of the month. Again, Costa's killing it. So Dad's feeling a lot better about Costa. But back in 2023, I want to say 2023, 2024, one of the two. 2020, I can't remember. Either way, I think it was 2024. Iceman goes out and spends a second round pick and gets Trey Augustine, who ends up being a phenomenal goalie prospect for the NCAA. He does such a good job. He's doing great in college, winning, just leading MSU to a great, great championship. They lost. They didn't make it to the Frozen Four, unfortunately, but I don't think that was his fault. And so he went back to school, and Dad was like super nervous about it. And so there's because here he's in his third year in college, and so at his fourth year, if he doesn't sign at the end of his third year of college, he can be a free agent and he can go sign with anybody. After the fourth year in college, he can go sign with anybody. So Dad was really nervous because guess what just happened? Isaac Howard of MSU, he was a Lightning draft pick, like 31st overall. And he's like, I'm not signing with the Bolts. There's no room for me. So he gets traded to the Oilers and signs an ELC there. So Dad was like, oh my God, what if he talked to Isaac Howard? Oh my God, what if Trey doesn't want to sign with the Red Wings? Their extra Red Wings had a guy named Keith Petruzzelli, who was a third round draft pick in 2017, I think, 23rd or fourth. He was a goalie prospect. He didn't look amazing but it didn't look amazing. But he didn't want to sign with the Red Wings that time. When he was ready to come up, so they let him walk. So with that, you have these two amazing goalie prospects that are ready, and so Dad's really excited because MSU got a different first round goalie for next year who's committed. That means that Trey Augustine's probably going to go to the AHL, and because Eisman went out and got a goaltender this past summer for the Red Wings. Again, we're not going to do history of the Red Wings in like the past year. We're just going to focus on 25, 26 because who are they coming with? They came with Cam Talbot, who had 1 year left this year. And then Eisman goes out and trades for John Gibson. Originally, back at the trade deadline in 2025, the Anaheim Ducks wanted Anton Johansson and a first-round pick. Eisman ended up trading him for Peter Mrazek, 1 year left. They traded it for a second-round pick and I think a fourth-round pick. So a much better price, especially as Anton Johansson's looking very good in the SHL. So Eisman picks up John Gibson and has Cam Talbot, okay? John Gibson has 2 years left on his contract. So you got 25, 26, and 26, 27. So you look at Cam Talbot. Cam Talbot has 1 year left. So they're running a tandem of Cam Talbot and John Gibson. John Gibson did not look, Red Wings in general did not look great in the first month. Cam Talbot was really the savior, but Gibson was not looking good. And everyone's like, oh my goodness, what's up with Gibson? And Dad said it. He's like, because Dad liked John Gibson back in the Anaheim Ducks. He was like, no, I know Anaheim Ducks. I know this is Gibson. I know he can be good. He's 30 years old. I know he can be good. And I was like, I know he's good. He just needs to take time. Mind you, like in a person's perspective, Gibson uprooted his whole family. He had to get new schools, he had to get a new house, he had to learn the area, it's new personnel at the rink. He had to get to know new teammates, new system, new coaches, it's everything, right? He just had his whole world shocked. So, think about this, being oh, your kids don't want to go to school because they don't know anyone at school, and you're going to play a hockey game. And so it's just one of those where you're you got to take time. And of course, Gibson starts to turn around in November. And then in December, he posts the best, best numbers since 2008. It's going crazy good. And Gibson's looking really good. In January, he's currently on his second 8-game win streak. So again, we're looking at a guy who's looking phenomenal. He's one of the best goalies in the leagues right now. And actually has the save percentage above league average now because he's doing so well and he's bounced back so well. So you have these. So again, we're talking about. The reason I started with the prospects is because Candela has 1 year left. Guess who also has 1 year left on their contract, their entry level contract? Sebastian Cossa. So if Sebastian Cossa has 1 year left, that means he's going to need a new deal. He's going to want a bridge deal because he's going to be a backup. I honestly, if they could sign him for 8 years, I would, just because I think he'll be a comparable backup. But it depends on how much money he wants. Probably going to want a bridge. because he has not been proven at the NHL level yet. So probably give him a 2, 3, 4 year bridge. Anyways, anything to keep him before UFA. So probably a 3 year contract, and he's gonna be the backup for Gibson next year. And so because the Camp has 1 year left, Coast has 1 year left, so that'll be so next year, 26-27 season, it'll be a Gibson Cossa tandem, and so then by Hosa coming up, who is free? There's an AHL spot freed up. Guess who's going to take that one? You're right, Trey Augustine. So Trey Augustine will take that as well. So you have your goalie depth is Trey Augustine in the AHL. You have Gibson and you have Sebastian Cossa up in the NHL. So this is like a good thing that's happening. Mind you, again, you have Carter Gylander. You have Rudy Guimond. You have a bunch of good guys. Sorry, my cat's pulling on the chair. Get off the chair, bud. And so it's just very good. It's very exciting. There's a lot of good stuff happening in Detroit, and this guy is out. So thank you for listening to my Red Wings goalie TED Talk. We'll tune in next time for when he is so upset that we have to talk about more Red Wings stuff. See ya. Love you.